for this session, we decided to open it to external participants. So especially for the Natural Science PIISA Project, which are a sister project from Soteria. And because we are working on similar topics, so we thought that it would be a great opportunity also for Soteria to present the work that we are doing. And so I also wanted to explain, so this will be the agenda and a little introduction. We will have a short explanation and presentation from Heikki Tuomenvirta, which is working in PIISA Project. He will explain what he's doing in PIISA and the case study where they implement the parametric insurance. And then we will have also a presentation from Paul Eberlein, which is working Genillard Co. Also, he is part of Soteria Project and is leading 2 case studies in Soteria, so the Bavarian case study and also the Zadar case study. And then we will have an open discussion and exchange, and just at the end, we will close the session. So especially for the external participant, we have in Soteria, we decided to have a 3-level community of practice. So in each case study is a community of practice, like a local community of practice. Then we have the Soteria community of practice, where the idea is to share best practices, to exchange knowledge, to also learn from each other. And in this level 2, we have 1 webinar every 2 weeks. So for now, it was internal webinar with the presentation of the advance in each case study. And now we wanted to open it to external participants. And so we already have these 3 webinars, and today the title of the webinar is Pro and Cons for a Parametric Insurance Solution. And I don't want to take more time. We will begin with Heikki, if you want to share your screen to present what you work in PIISA Project, and we'll follow with the presentation of Paul.
Yes, my name is Heikki Tuomenvirta, and yes, thank you for giving me the opportunity to briefly tell you about work in PIISA Project. My background is in atmospheric sciences, but I've been working a long time with climate change, adaptation and risks and solutions. So like Soteria, PIISA is a Horizon Europe project, and PIISA explores how insurance-related solutions can reduce the gap in climate change adaptation. We aim to reduce insurance gap in parallel to the adaptation gap. So the main message is that insurance sector is a relevant part of risk sharing, and it can play a role in building resilience. For example, develop novel insurance concepts to meet customers' changing and often growing needs to protect themselves against hydrometeorological hazards, provide incentives to policyholders to better prepare and adapt, and also strengthen public-private cooperation in adaptation. So my colleagues, they have surveyed the current level of awareness of weather and climate. Yes?
I thought the presentation wasn't going on, but it's perfect. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Yes, about the awareness of the climate change and weather and climate risks among European citizens, as well as their current insurance coverage for climate-related risks. This was done in 6 countries, which you can see on the map. Surveys showed that 67% of respondents have experienced at least one natural hazard in the last 5 years. And 1 in 4 European citizens have faced economic losses over the past 5 years. So clearly there is need, and it's in the minds of many Europeans. But then about today's topic, the parametric insurance or index-based insurance, you may call it. So it's not well known. About 80% of respondents had never heard about it. And in this sample, 7% have activated parametric insurance, so only 7. So it is, the parametric insurance is not well known, and also offer of this product from insurance companies is limited. Some remarks about the farmers and study in Italy. So there the 80% of farmers are insured against some of the natural hazards, which are mostly related to weather and climate, like hail, fires, heavy rains, storms, drought, flood, and so on, and temperature. But again, only 6% has taken parametric insurance, and large part of them have never heard about the parametric insurance, and the middle 25% is not sure what type of insurance they have. So when asked about the barriers to take an parametric insurance, the largest reasons are lack of awareness and complexity of understanding, trust issues with the insurance companies, and of course, cost concerns. And then I tell you a little bit about the agriculture pilot we are running. It's in fact the Barcelona Supercomputing Center colleagues and colleagues from Polytechnical University from Milano, and then there is a Finnish insurance company, Local Tapiola, involved. And to summarize about the survey of farmers in Italy and Finland, the results from Spain are not ready yet. So the farmers cannot manage all weather-related risks, so they are interested in weather insurance. And parametric insurance is not well known, but there's interest about novel concepts to share risk in a changing climate. And often government subsidies are mentioned as an enabler for taking parametric insurances or insurances in general. Then it comes to question like policy of the government. If climate change adaptation, I would say the driving policy aim, then these subsidies could be used through parametric insurance to enhance planned and transformative adaptation. So the case study for this agriculture case is in Jaén province, Spain, where there are about 600 hectares of olive trees. In-person workshop with local olive farmers was conducted there in collaboration with Asaha Jaén to inform and gather information. So the co-design event collected information on realized weather-related risks and farmers' needs for risk sharing. These semi-quantitative and qualitative results are needed for the tool for co-designing parametric insurance. As a background, I should say, I've been told by the colleagues that in the region there is large parts of traditional olive tree farming, which is characterized by large, widely spaced tree plantations. But the tendency is towards so-called super intensive, which consists of smaller plantations, and the trees are planted very closely. So the weather parameter will be derived to characterize the hydrometeorological hazards causing risks to farmers. This is done based on observed data sources. Payout is linked to trigger and exit values of the weather parameter. Here in this figure, the x-axis is a climate variable. For drought, the climate variable could be rainfall amount of a critical phenological period. If the precipitation sum is under trigger, compensation will be paid. If precipitation sum is below exit value, policyholder receives a maximum payout. And it's the PSC that has developed this tool, this GoDPI. To summarize about the progress and challenges so far, the pilot is addressing a protection gap identified by farmers. Co-design process with local stakeholders was very productive, and the idea is to better match between what is available and what farmers actually need. Parametric insurance product may be designed unilaterally by insurance companies using general tools and thresholds taken from other locations and literature, and this is being avoided here. So the challenge is that whether it will be business feasible for the insurance companies, and under work is also development of monitoring and monthly seasonal forecast services for the farmers, and of course how replicable is this methodology. And I don't know exactly, I didn't check my watch, how many minutes I have used, but if it's okay, I'll stop here and we can discuss later.
Okay, maybe if we someone we can take one or two quick question, or we can keep them for the discussion moment. But if you have now someone have some question, you can go ahead. Okay, if not, we can Paul, you can share your screen.
Yes.
You have a question from Yara. So Yara, maybe you can.
Hi. So, yeah, just quickly, thank you for that. That was really interesting, and I was just wondering if that research is published, or if it's going to be published, or we could find the results of the survey anyway. I think it's useful for us as well.
Okay, I had some and numbers in my presentation, so they are deliverables. You can search from the PIISA website, but I think there will be, at least it's in preparation, the colleagues from Milan University about the European-wide survey. Okay, thank you for the question.
Thank you.
Can you see the full presentation, the
Yes.
presentation mode?
Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah, so thank you for the presentation, Heikki. And my name is Paul Eberlein, and I work at Genillard Co in Munich, and we're a reinsurance broker. And my background is geography, and we now have heard the term parametric insurance a few times, and yeah, maybe some of you are not that familiar with the term, or how it works, or what advantages, disadvantages yeah, this type of insurance has. So I'll present to you some slides regarding how does it look like, what are how does the comparison to indemnity-based insurance look like, and yeah, some examples also. So parametric insurance is a type of insurance product where the payout is triggered by a predefined event or parameter, with such as a specific level of rainfall, wind speed, or earthquake magnitude, rather than the actual loss incurred. And instead of compensating for actual damages, parametric insurance pays out a fixed amount once the triggering event occurs, assuming the parameter exceeds a defined threshold. And these parameters are usually observable, measurable, and reported by a trusted third-party data source like meteorological agencies. And parametric insurance has its roots in weather derivatives and catastrophe bonds in the 1990s. And these financial tools were used to hedge against natural disasters and market volatility. And early adoption occurred in agriculture, where crop yields, of course, are heavily affected by weather conditions like drought or excessive rain. And the growth of satellite data IoT sensors and climate modeling in the 2010s accelerated its development. And now in the 2020s, parametric insurance has been used for climate risk, natural disasters, business interruption, travel, and pandemic risks. So how does it work? First, you define a specific measurable parameter, for example, rainfall below, let's say, 50 millimeters in a month. Then you agree upon a threshold value for that parameter. And a third-party agency or technology like a satellite or sensors, etc., verifies whether the trigger has occurred. And if the threshold is breached, the pre-agreed lump sum payout is made automatically, regardless of the actual loss. So the advantages of parametric insurance are, of course, the speed of payout. So funds are dispersed quickly after a trigger event, often within days. It's transparent. So clearly defined parameters and thresholds reduce ambiguity and disputes. You have lower admin costs due to no loss adjustment processes, which simplifies the claim settlement. Hard to insure risks are insurable. It's useful for catastrophic and systemic risks where traditional loss adjustment is difficult. And you can scale it, so it's easier to scale across regions or countries, especially in developing economies. There are also some disadvantages. The biggest one is the basis risk. That is when the payout or a lack of it does not correlate well with the actual financial loss suffered. So this is a major barrier to adoption. So the payout does not match the actual loss. Then you are dependent on data. You require reliable, independent, and frequent data collection. Defining the right trigger can be complex and sensitive. Then you have regulatory uncertainty. It may fall into regulatory gray zones in some jurisdictions. And it could be that it is perceived as unfair because policyholders may not receive the payout despite experiencing a loss and vice versa. This table shows a comparison between parametric and traditional insurance. So you see the predefined parameter versus the actual loss assessment, the payout time, rapid versus slower. You have an automatic claims process triggered by a triggered event versus the detailed loss assessment, which is required for traditional insurance. You can design your parametric insurance flexible for specific risks, whereas traditional is likely less flexible and more standardized. The cost structure for parametric insurance is lower. The administrative costs are lower, which could lead to potentially lower premiums. In traditional insurance, we have higher administrative costs and claims costs. The basis risk is high compared to indemnity insurance, where it is low because you have the damage assessment done by experts. And the moral hazard in parametric insurance is rather low because there's no incentive to exaggerate claims because you get a payout once a trigger is hit. Whereas in traditional insurance, you could tend to overstate losses. Best practices and implementation. What should an insurer do to get the best out of parametric insurance? So the first thing you want to do is you want to minimize the basis risk through, for example, precise calibration or hybrid approaches. For example, through parametric and indemnity together, or through multi-index models, which leads to a higher complexity. Then you can ensure data integrity for using independent, transparent, and real-time data sources. What's also important is you need to educate the customers. You need to clearly explain how triggers and payouts work, because clients won't buy a product if they don't understand it 100%. So if you have a really low basis risk because you have a lot of parameters or multi-index models, versus you have a product which has a higher basis risk, but is easier to understand. The clients tend to buy the one which is easier to understand but has a higher basis risk, because for them it's easier to understand how it works. Then you can combine it with traditional coverage. So for layered risk management, for example, parametric for catastrophe layer and indemnity for lower losses. You can work with regulators to ensure proper classification and consumer protection. And you can also use smart contracts, that is blockchain-based parametric products, which can enable automatic trustless execution. One example regarding agriculture is Allianz Agrar's drought product. Allianz Agrar is an associated partner in the Soteria project, and we are working with them in our Bavarian case study. So it just revolves around this parametric product. And depending on the crop grown, a liability period is defined, and independent weather stations of the German Weather Service measure the amount of precipitation within a defined period. And this precipitation is recorded using radar technology, and it's accurate to the nearest neighborhood. And also the water retention capacity of the farmer's soil is taken into account. And the farmer decides in advance how much cover he or she wants. And Allianz Agrar offers a lump sum payment of 30% of the sum insured. And all common crops such as wheat, rapeseed, or grain maize are insurable against drought. And the additional module for hail insurance also supplements the protection of special crops such as grassland. And advantages of this insurance product are a flat rate compensation if the precipitation falls below a contractually agreed amount in advance. Then the insurance can be taken out for 120 crops. And in the event of a claim, settlement is done simply and fast. And transparency is given through official weather station data, which can be viewed online at any time. And this visualization is taken from Allianz Agrar's drought product. This example shows maize together with drought, and you can either choose a short period, which goes for 6 weeks, or you can choose the long-term period, which lasts a maximum from the 1st of May until the last day of August. And then you can decide which time period you want to look at for drought. And based on this, you get a payout for either the 6 weeks or for the long-term period. Another example for agriculture here is Munich Re, with their indexes on building resilience in agriculture. And they offer these tailored agricultural risk management solutions to enhance the sector's resilience and sustainability. And exchange traded futures and options can protect against commodity price movements, but cannot effectively offset financial losses caused by local crop shortages. So the area yield index, for example, bridges this gap in risk management by leveraging trusted governmental yield statistics to develop a straightforward parametric yield index that can eliminate financial losses caused by localized crop shortages. The adverse weather index offers companies protection against financial losses caused by adverse weather events such as drought, excessive rainfall, heat stress, cold spells, and damaging winds. Then the modeled yield index offers an alternative to public yield statistics when government data is unavailable, untrustworthy, or lacks the desired resolution. It achieves client goals by creating a digital replica of the underlying cropland yields and maintains objectivity by utilizing a third-party provider. And in addition to yield and weather risk, price risk is also a major concern, and traditional tools such as forwards and futures are complex, and traditional options can be costly. You can, Munich Re offers a contingent price index, for example. This provides a solution by triggering price protection when yield or weather conditions are adverse, offering more tailored solutions and economic efficiencies that were previously unavailable. And here's another example. It's not related to agriculture, but to earthquakes. Swiss Re's Quake product uses the highest ground shaking. That means the ground shaking intensity during an earthquake at the insured's location to determine the proceeds due. And the United States Geologic Survey ShakeMap is the data provider. It's available globally. The payout is typically within 30 days following an event, and payouts can address direct property damage, excess operational expenses, lost revenue, and other immediate needs. Other sectors where parametric insurance can be used, I'd say it's not that common as in agriculture, but you can purchase it. For example, it's tourism and hospitality, when you can use it for business interruption due to natural disasters, like, as I mentioned, earthquakes or hurricanes, maritime and shipping. You can use it for delays due to severe weather, port closures, or piracy zones. Also, real estate and infrastructure, where you can have damage risk from earthquakes, floods, hurricanes. Also, events and entertainment. So you can protect, or you can get cover for event cancellation due to weather conditions or natural disasters. Technology and cloud services. You can cover outages triggered by measurable technical events, for example, server downtime, or also aviation and travel, where you can cover flight delay, cancellation, and get compensation based on scheduled versus actual time. What does the future look like of parametric insurance? So regarding climate change, it's increasingly important for managing the growing climate-related disasters. IoT integration, the use of connected devices to monitor real-time risks like flood sensors will further develop. You can use blockchain, smart contracts for automated payouts and reduced administrative friction. Microinsurance expansion can be used especially in developing countries for low-income populations, and also hybrid models combining parametric triggers with partial loss assessments to reduce the basis risk will be implemented further. And so, as a summary, you can say that parametric insurance is not a replacement for traditional insurance, but a powerful complement, and especially in managing low frequency, high severity risks, closing protection gaps, and ensuring financial resilience for individuals, governments, and businesses alike.
It was really interesting. So, someone have a question? If not, I have just some couple of questions. The first one, how have you done in Bavaria? How do the farmer, for example, they accept this product? How do you have done some workshop with them to present the parametric insurance?
In Bavaria, we're looking at drought, and drought is usually, so in pretty much all the cases, insured through parametric insurance, because it's a large affects a large area, and it wouldn't make sense to send an expert out and do a damage assessment. So drought is generally used. Parametric insurance is generally used for drought by farmers in Bavaria, of course. And as I said, for them, the most important point is not the affordability, but understanding how the product works, and it's understanding how it works. And then, let's say, the affordability is like the second most important point. But as I said, for them, they really want to understand how it works and what they will get in case anything happens. And then, this is like what they find is the most important thing. But yes, it's very common to use parametric insurance for drought. Although in Germany, just, I don't know, like 4% of all farmers have a drought insurance. So it's not a high number.
Okay. So this is not a new product for them.
No, it's not a new product, but I don't know what the factors are, but in Germany, not many farmers are yet insured against drought. But it's not a new product, and it's offered by a lot of agricultural insurers. So the possibility is there to insure yourself against drought in Germany or in Bavaria.
Okay. Alexander, you raise your hand.
Yeah, thank you, Paul. Thank you, Jana, for this very interesting conversation. I have only one question, and this relates mostly to some bias or to some very specific behavior of the farmers, because they, let's say, we have parametric insurance since many years. I mean, like since decades, and I think we have the same old problem. Is like the perception of this parametric insurance is very, let's say, low, or not like at the level which allows us to, let's say, reach a very high penetration rate. It's exactly a question to you, Paul, from your understanding, because we're adding to this equation IT innovations like blockchain, like many other things. What do you think? What kind of instruments or tools should we use to make this innovations acceptable by the farmers? Maybe behavioral tactics, because I know that you're working very closely with Camelia from Behavior Smart on something similar in Croatia. But from your perspective, how do you think maybe the same behavior tactics things could help us to better, let's say, to improve readiness of the farmers to use these innovations, IT tools?
Yeah, so I think if you want to reduce the basis risk, we would need to have better data, better sensors, maybe more IoT, but this increases the complexity. And in this regard, I think we would need to approach the farmers from a behavioral side. And also from an educational side, because if you make the products more complex, maybe they are better, but we see the problem now that a lot of people still don't really trust like parametric insurance because of the basis risk. So I think if you really want to increase the uptake, you would need to approach them from a behavioral side. And of course, more data and more sensors are great because you can you have a better understanding of the risk, and you can enhance your product. But if it gets more complex, you will maybe even lose some clients.
We have a question in the chat from Laura. If you want to open your micro, or I can read the question if you want.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I thought was having some trouble with this. Yes, my question is regarding how the farmers get to know about this product. And if, for example, you mentioned there is only 4%, would there be a local entity? I don't know if the local government is also involved in it to promote this type of insurance in the area. And you only mentioned the case of Bavaria. Do you know if this is extended through the whole country in Germany, or do you have other examples across Europe? Thank you. Very interesting presentation. I learned a lot.
Thank you. So I guess many farmers insure themselves. Doesn't matter what insurance type they purchase, but I think all or most of the agricultural insurers in Germany also offer drought insurance, which is always parametric. So I think if farmers look at their insurance or what they want to purchase, they more or less can get. They have to see that their parametric insurance is being offered. I don't know if any government or any federal states in Germany promote this type of insurance. I'm not aware of that, but some states give subsidies, premium subsidies to farmers. So in Bavaria, for example, we have since 2023 a premium subsidy for multi-peril crop insurance. which also covers drought. And Bavarian farmers can get up to 50% of their insurance premium subsidized. So this, maybe something like this is promotes drought insurance, but I'm not aware of any governments, municipalities promoting this type of insurance. But insurers promote it because, of course, they want to sell their products, and it makes sense to insure yourself against drought. Even most importantly, or especially in Eastern Germany, because it's a very dry region. Yes, I think there's no big promotion of this type of product, but farmers that have insurance, they are aware that this type of insurance exists. So that would be my answer to the question.
Yes, thank you, Paul. I have actually two questions. First of all, you say that in Saxony or Bavaria, sorry, only 4% have parametric. And in the same time, that the complexity of the product is very important for their decision. But the parametric insurance is somehow simpler than traditional one because it's very easy to understand when you're covered or not, isn't it? And why is this such a low interest in this product in case it's actually, and I think one of the advantages of this product is that this is simpler or should be simpler for the client to understand it. And the second question you mentioned for the Allianz Agrar and this lump sum that they pay out, can you explain a little bit what is it about?
Yeah, so I'll start with your second question. This lump sum payout. So for the 6 weeks, I showed when you only want to look at 6 weeks where your crop is growing, you get 15% of the sum insured as a payout if the trigger is hit. And if you look at the long-term period, you get a maximum of 30% of the sum insured as a payout. So it's the percentage is fixed to your sum insured. This is what I meant, if this answers your question. Your first question, yes, basically you could think, or you could say that parametric insurance is like easier to understand than standard or traditional insurance, because something happens and then you get money fast. But there's also an issue with like people don't trust the satellites or the sensors, or what also is a big issue regarding rainfall. When you look at precipitation, of course you don't have you can measure it every 50 meters or so. So there's a station like all, I don't know, maybe all 6 kilometers, I don't know. And if precipitation is measured at one point and your field is like some kilometers away, you were, I don't know, it didn't rain on your place, but it rained on the weather station. It could be that you receive no payout because the measure station measured precipitation, but you didn't receive precipitation. So you suffered a loss, but you don't get any money. So this could be a problem. And also for drought, I think the last maybe 5 to 6 years have been very harsh in Germany regarding drought. But before that, many farmers didn't see the need to purchase a drought insurance. So only in a couple of last years, it really got severe. And maybe many farmers don't see the necessity to now buy this type of insurance product. Maybe they see, maybe they say now, okay, maybe it's time to purchase this kind of insurance because like every summer is dry. This summer was also too dry. This could also be a reason. But yeah, in basically, it's easy to. I mean, it's easy to understand. You get money quickly, and yeah, I don't know how traditional farmers are. Don't really have contact with many farmers, but those could be the reasons why many people still don't buy drought insurance.
Yes, thank you. And maybe multi-peril insurance in traditional is something that is important for them because you don't know what kind of peril exactly is going to happen. And
yes. This is what is subsidized in Bavaria. So multi-peril crop insurance.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Maybe my last question, from at least from my side, is about the elephant in the room about this EU taxonomy, and it requires insurance companies to integrate the sustainability activities into the products. Because I know Heikki and you, Paul, you are dealing with parametric insurance with very similar hazards and very similar challenges. But from your experience, what are the key challenges on the way from this idea of having the sustainable activities within the product integrated and real risk reduction at the end, which means both sides are, let's say, they agree to, let's say, to move with this solution. So which means what are the key barriers on the way from this idea of implementing sustainable activities into the product and to real implementation and to real risk reduction?
So do you mean like sustainability measures implemented by the farmer, or?
Yeah, exactly, because this new regulation requires implementation of risk reduction activities by the farmers, and they should reduce risks at the end and also reduce the premium. This is the idea. But from your experience, do you have any real examples where it was difficult or easy? If difficult, then what was the real challenge?
So from what I have seen, insurers don't promote sustainability measures implemented by farmers until now. So it's really just you insure yourself and you get, if something happens, you get a payout, like insurance works. But I haven't seen, okay, maybe Allianz Agrar in Lower Saxony, they started a new program where the implementation of sustainability or resilience get rewarded with like points or something. But I don't think that insurers really see this EU taxonomy as a trigger to change something in their products. So yeah, and also this state subsidy for multi-peril crop insurance, it only subsidizes your premium, so it doesn't subsidize any sustainability measures you could implement. So it's not aimed at making the farmers more resilient or making the production more sustainable. It's really just monetary help to insure yourself. And currently insurers are, from what I have seen, not acting in a way to reward sustainability measures. Yeah, and that's what we're basically trying to achieve in our case study in Bavaria, but it's not that easy.
And Heikki, there's a question to you.
Yes, thank you. So our approach is more like where there is first there is adaptation gap, and sometimes there is also a protection gap. And so our approach in a way has been, for example, this agriculture case, that the parametric insurance provide possibility to introduce a product that is not available, or in this case the farmers are not satisfied with the indemnity insurances that are available for their crop and their region. But concerning the sort of sustainability and adaptation in general, partly related to farmers, because some farmers are also forest owners, and forests, there are, how do I say, adaptation measures in national adaptation plans that can be implemented, and the forest owners are supposed to implement. And the clear example we have is the forest or wildfires in Portugal. That there is a clear national adaptation plan and measures which can be modeled how much the probability of wildfire is reduced when these measures are done. And then the insurance company can take it into account in their modeling, and it affects the premium. Okay, gone a bit further, but I hope this was helpful. And I don't know, having the floor very shortly to Paul, do you have this approach that you really model, or you know that they are modeling the measures to be more sustainable, or implement the adaptation plans or the adaptation measures, and the insurance company relies on the modeling how it should affect lowering the risk, and it's taken into account in the...
So you mean the insurance company models how certain measures would affect the premium? I think maybe they do, maybe, but I'm not sure. I think I would have to guess, but Allianz Agrar, I think they do not do that. I don't know how far their modeling goes, and I don't know if they also take into account sustainability measures. But yeah, I mean, it could of course be a way to model this and then put this together with the premiums and some insureds. Yeah, but from my experience, I don't know if that's being done.
Thank you very much. I don't know if I think there are
Thank
no
you.
other questions. So we are at the end of this webinar. Thank you very much for the presentation and your participation. We'll send the minutes, the recording, and all of that in the coming weeks, and also it will be available in the Soteria newsletter. So the next session will take place, I think, in September. And if we are lucky, we will have the presentation of Jesus from Aqua about the guideline on risk and vulnerability assessment that he is developing. And if not, we will find another topic. So thank you very much, and have a nice day and summer.
Thank you, Jana,
Thank
for
you.
organizing this. Yeah.
Thank you.
And
Bye,
thank you,
everyone.
the speakers.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Um,
Bye.